Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're from. And this is JP, and welcome to John Paul Music UK. Hi, good afternoon from a very, very sunny UK at the moment, and I am indoors. So I've got a question for you. And what that question is what do you want? What do you want on... I've decided... for those who are interested, hello matey, I've decided to create a Boss RC-600 LoopStation course, a complete course, the whole thing. And I'm going to start filming it from next week onwards, and it hopefully should be ready in July. But I wanted to know, London is cloudy, gutted for you, I'm so sorry. So what I wanted to do is I'm first of all going to take these off, because I don't actually need them on, because I'm not sort of interviewing anyone, so I don't actually understand why I had them on in the first place. As long as you guys can hear me, then that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I am actually asking you the question, what do you want to see in my new RC-600 LoopStation course? And then what I'm going to do is, once this live stream is over, I will be filtering back through it. I'll be watching it back myself, and then I'm going to be taking some notes of what you guys want to see. So if you have missed this live stream, if you missed this opportunity to actually shout at me and say, JP, put this in it, then please put it down in the chat, and then what we can do is we can actually... I can see it from the chat. But I am going to start filming it from next week. And this is currently the 21st of June. So hopefully it'll be ready in July. And then we'll be able to have that ready for everyone. So for those who are not new, for those who are new to this, I do obviously lots of things to do with live looping and also live streaming. And that little segue of live streaming leads me on to this. Whoops, wrong one. This this live stream is actually sponsored, and it's sponsored by our friends over at Restream. I'm actually streaming to 3 locations at the same time right now. So I'm streaming to YouTube, of course, hello. I'm streaming to my Facebook group, which is John Paul Music UK, hello. And I'm also streaming to Twitch, which is on John Paul Music UK. And it's all done through through Restream. And Restream have a thing called Restream Studio, and I'm using it right now. There's no software to install whatsoever, and I'm actually using it on my screen right now. And all these overlays and everything you've seen a countdown video, you can hear music in the background. It's all done through Restream Studio. And Restream have got this link. We've got this link at the bottom here, and if you click on this link, basically, which is restream.io/join/John Paul Music UK, then what you can do is you can actually get $10 worth of Restream credit. Now, the Restream Studio is free, completely free. So you can do this, you can do a version of this completely free, absolutely free whatsoever. And then the other thing as well is there's also the Studio Pro, which is what I've got, and I pay for that because I think it's worth it, where you can get a couple of nice things, and you can do a couple of extra bits for it. So for example, it takes away things like the Restream logo, and you can put your own logo on. You can do multiple things with different cameras and blah blah blah. And you've got loads of different things with video clips. You can add your own stuff in, like I've added this stuff on the top and underneath here. So have a look at Restream. If you're a musician, you're a performer, you're an entertainer, you're a magician, and you don't want to learn OBS, you don't want to learn all these different things. Hi Trevor, how you doing? So if you don't want to learn all these pieces of software, all you do is go to I'm literally going through a Chrome browser right now, and all you do is boot up the Chrome browser, go to studio.restream, or use the link that's here, and then use the studio, and it's completely free. However, you get $10 free from me anyway, so you might as well. So it's all good. I've got a new addition to the family. A baby kitten. Oh, he's got a baby kitten. What's the baby kitten called? Hope it's very well, in your very good care, Trevor. So as I say, this is sponsored by our friends at Restream, and have a look at the link. And as I say, it's free to sign up and it's free to use the studio, but obviously you get $10 of Restream credit should you choose to do it. Now, in the chat that is over here, this is what we call a multi-stream chat. So you can see Matey the Great is actually chatting to me on YouTube, whereas Trevor's actually chatting to me on Facebook, and you guys can all see it. So you guys can talk to each other from different platforms. How cool is that? I quite like the multi-stream chat. I think it's a cool thing. So what we're going to do now is I am just going to bring this in. What subjects would you like to see in my new Boss RC-600 LoopStation course? Comment in the chat. Now, for those who are not decided yet whether you're going to purchase an RC-600, and this might obviously tip you over the edge, or if you're into looping, or if you're thinking about getting into looping, then obviously I've got loads of videos all about that, whether you're using a tabletop looper, whether you're using a floor pedal looper, whether you're using an app on your iPhone or iPad or Android device, or even a computer. But the RC-600 is my main loop pedal now, and it's pretty much, and it's the one that is the one that I've done a lot of work with on a lot of videos already. But what I want to do is I want to do an absolute deep dive course, and this course is designed to save you time. So the whole point of this course is to go through way beyond the manual. Aye, Piers, how are we? Right? Aye, I love that. So this course is designed, or going to be designed. I'm in the middle of writing it and designing it right now, and I thought I'd just share this with you. I thought, why not? Why not just tell the community? I'm designing it to actually save you time. So we all know that there's the Boss manual, and then there's the parameter guide, and then when you look at the parameter guide, you kind of like go, well, what does that mean? Missed you last week. Oh yeah, no, I wasn't around last week. I had to do a little bit of filming, so but thank you very much. I'm sorry. I'm glad I was missed. That's so nice. So yes, so the whole point of this live stream is just about talking about the Boss RC-600 LoopStation and this new course. This is kind of like an announcement, like an unscheduled announcement that I'm gonna create. And many people have asked me, do you do a full course on the RC-600? So I'm going to create a full course, but I want your help. I want you to tell me what you want in that course. I've obviously got lots of subjects I could do and put in there, but I want to know what's kind of like the dark corners that you're not sure of, that you're like, I wish it could do this, and actually maybe it could do, but you just don't know it can do because I haven't told you, or you haven't found it on the internet somewhere. So the course is going to be quite in depth, because we're going to go over every, and I do mean every aspect of the RC-600. So right from the beginning, right from absolute beginners. So if you've never done looping before and your first purchase is a Boss RC-600 LoopStation, my first word to you is well done. That's like literally just your first car being a Ferrari. You know, it's just amazing. But the other thing as well is, even if you're quite advanced, I want to show you some really cool advanced things that you can do with it. But I want to explain it in the way I normally do, in a layman's terms, normal way, and I'm going to give you step-by-step guide instructions. But I also wanted to ask, Rani, hi. You don't have a suggestion, just sitting there hanging out while, oh, she's sick. I'm saying hi. Hi, I hope you get well. I'm sorry you're not well. So there are basically just obviously different ways we can obviously go about it. I could go literally just through the manual, but that's boring. You could read that yourself. The whole point of it is to save you time so you don't have to sit there and read both. I mean, I use the parameter guide almost like a reference. Like a reference thing. Sometimes they call it a reference guide on different loop pedals, but the parameter guide, there's so many different things you can do, and there's a couple of things you can't do. But I also want to make sure that you, I'm covering all different aspects. So whether you're doing this for live streaming, or you're using the RC-600 for live gigs, if you're using it for backing tracks. So I want you guys to tell me what you want, and this is your opportunity. Now, if you're sitting here, then 0 to light speed in 1 credit card transaction if you get an RC-600 as your first looper. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, can you imagine? Just like, I'm going to get into looping, I'll just get the top one straight away. You'd be like, oh. I know I would be. So yeah, that's quite a funny one. So the thing is that with the 600, it is a monster machine, and it is one of these things where you can just start with one loop, and then of course you've got 6 loops to play with, and that's another thing. That's just all about structure. But what I want to know is, I just want to know what you think. Now, if you're obviously, it's like 20 till 2 on a Tuesday, and if you're watching this later on in the evening, or you're watching this first thing as you wake up the next day, or whatever, even the next week or month, whatever, if I've missed something, or you're thinking he should do this, I've been begging him to sort of do this, and we need to sort this out, and I want that in the course, put it in the comment section, because obviously the chat will have gone. The chat will still be there, the live chat, but you can't add to the live chat. But put it in the comment section below, and then I'm going to filter through this over the next 2 to 3 weeks to make sure I've got a couple of things in there. The course itself is, as I say, going to be pretty in-depth, so I'm going to break it down into sort of like sizable chunks, into chapters. I hope that makes sense. I've got a Boss RC-600 and Headrush. Kept the Headrush, sent the Boss back. Oh, mate, did you really? Yeah, it's one of these things where I think they did have a bit of a bumpy start. So, yeah, it's the Headrush, I think, now is much more established. If you got the Headrush when I first got the Headrush, you may have actually sent that back, but it took them to get to version 2 of their software for it to be really, really like user-friendly, and the user interface wasn't terrible. It was all right, but it got really better in version 2, and that was a good year after it was released. So yeah, it has a bit of a bumpy start, and I totally get that. This is also why I want to do the course, so it just saves you time, because it's all about navigation and going around. So it just depends on what you want. So there we go. Rani, as someone who doesn't know much about looping but does like to hear things, it could be a lot of fun to have a lesson covering how you replicate iconic sounds in famous songs that feature loops using your looper. I'm glad you said that, Rani, because if you actually go over to my channel, or if you're on my channel, because I realise you're on Twitch right now, look at that. I've got like Twitch and YouTube all in the same chat. It's cool. If you go to my YouTube channel and you have a look at my live streams, there's a live stream series which is called Tuesday Tunes with JP, and that's exactly what I do. I actually go over covers, I play the cover and I loop it, and then I break it down and show you how I loop it. I'm not saying that's how you should loop it, I'm just saying that's how I do it. So there we go. So if you're not feeling well and you're actually running out of things to watch, you could always watch that, Ronnie. I get a MIDI foot controller next week, the Behringer FCB1010, to go with my 600. This FCB1010 just continues to be around. It never dies. It continues to be a staple MIDI pedal for lots and lots of people for years. I don't even know when it was released. It was released years ago, and then there was a chip. Everyone bought this one chip that you could take it apart and change the motherboard and put this chip on it, which would then make it like easier, and also it would actually add more features as well. So that's interesting, Ray. I'm interested to see how you're going to pair that up. Of course, you've got so many buttons on that thing, but it is big, and obviously that with the 600, are you going to do it like front and back, or are you going to do it side by side? And like my friend John Wynn, you're going to end up with a rifle case because it's that long. But yeah, if you do it like front and back, that wouldn't be too bad, like stepped up a bit. That'd be quite cool. So yeah, Rani, I might give it a look. That sounds awesome. Cool, excellent. Matey, Headrush is easy to use and the effects are fun. The screen is phenomenal. Yeah, it is. The screen is lovely, and yes, that is the number one thing I miss when programming something up, is a touchscreen. I say miss. I have the Headrush. It's sitting over there. But I have a lot of loopers. But that's my thing. My thing's about looping, so of course I'm going to have it. But it's the thing about the Headrush looper board is that I do like the combi jacks. I do like the touch screen. The effects, it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing stuff with guitar and you're doing stuff in certain ways, the effects have been getting better. For me, I didn't utilize a lot of the effects in the Headrush because I had the TC Helicon, and I kind of wouldn't let that go. So I kind of missed out on the effects, really. They are there, but the one thing I didn't like is the fact you've only got 4 racks, and one of them I wanted for my vocal to be like a good compression, a good this, a good that, and you suddenly realize very quickly that you kind of rack up the racks. That was my little take on that. And then the one thing I really do like now in the RC-600 is track effects. So you can affect the loop, so you can put like a filter on, so we can I use the, don't know what this is, by the way, sorry. I use the expression pedal, and I use that to control the volume of the loops, but on one patch I actually use it with a low pass filter. So actually as a play down, and I play over the top and then bring it all back for the chorus. So things like that, you can customize that on the Headrush. You can do things like that. And again, the other thing that a head rush really brought into play was the different modes. So you had like one loop, which was your rhythm. You're gonna have to remind me what it's called, Piers. One loop that's the rhythm, and then obviously everything else was like A, B, C. So it was like verse, chorus, bridge. So your rhythm was still there. So yeah, so there's loads of different things you can do with it. Anyway, fun games. Let's have a look what we got going on. Right, there we go. So this little ticker at the bottom is one of the new features of the studio, the Restream studio, and it is, what would you like to see in my Boss RC-600 LoopStation course? Comment in the chat. So there we go. Right, now, I've been waffling on. I've lost the chat. Getting the MIDI pedal. Yep, cool. Let's have a look at that. Cool. Phenomenal. Right, Piers, I'm certainly interested in how you go about working out how to loop a song. The breakdowns are great, but it's the thought process that interests me. Yeah, I mean, the thing is with this is that the Tuesday tunes with JP, obviously I've done quite a few of them now, and I'm kind of doing them as and when I want, as it were. And obviously that's exactly what it is. So if you go onto YouTube, if you're not on there already, don't leave now, but afterwards, have a look. There's a load of playlists, and have a look at my playlist for Tuesday tunes with JP. And it's all live streams, and what I do is I play one of the songs that I play in my set list, covers, and then I show you how I loop it, and I break it down and your thought process. Now you may watch that and go, oh, I'd put that there and I put that there. I'm not telling you how to loop it, I'm just telling you that's how I do it, and it's just knowledge. It's just showing you how I do things. Ooh, right, 250 is that's Australian, obviously Australia, right? It's Australian dollars, right? 250 delivered. That's really, really good. Rafa, hey, JP. Hi, how you doing? All good? Hope it's okay. Christopher. Hi, John Paul. My big frustration is the syncing issue. Yes. And trying to decide for each song whether to use multi-mode or serial mode. I hate it when I can't separate loops that have different lengths. Right, okay, let's talk about this a little bit. And I'm going to make a note of this, Chris, so just so you know. One of the things that is down to you is the structure of the loop. So it's entirely up to you, and you're going to have to think about this, obviously, at home if you're performing live, how you want the song to go. There's a couple of loops I do where I literally just take, say, imagine you've got loop 1 and you've also got loop 2, and imagine I have 6 loops. Okay, it doesn't matter. Loop 1 is a beat going boom da bum da bum, whatever, and then loop 2 is the chords, right? So the chords of the verse, okay, for a song. I can't think of a song right now that's got that I'm doing, but anyway, so 4 chords, whatever it is, and there's your beat, there's your chords. Okay, loop 1, loop 2. There are songs that I do where I literally just turn that off. I play the chorus with the beat going, and I just bring it back again. It just keeps it simple. It means also that as well that I'm not boring the audience to gonna go, right, hang on a minute, I'm just gonna record all my chorus. Keep watching, it's really interesting. Oh, I can sing the chorus now. And people are bored, they're gone, right? So I'm believing in a live environment. I've literally done this, and I've walked through this mud years ago where I was like, I need to put everything down live, and then that way people will be so impressed. I was busy putting something down live, and some guy just said, just play the song, will you? So, you know, you've got to kind of pick your audience, really. If you're doing a YouTube video of like a breakdown of how you're creating every loop and everything else, yeah, it could be really cool. If you yourself watch YouTube videos, put your hand up honestly, and if you watch a YouTube video and you're watching someone create a loop and you can hear the same beat and the same chords going all over again, you're 3-4 minutes in, and I've done it myself. You're 3-4 minutes in, and then you go, and now they're singing the song, right? You may not even get to that point. You may have left already. So that's my little rant. And yeah, some heckles definitely are useful, Piers. But that's my little rant about it. But the fact is that let's bring that back and let's make that constructive. And what I mean by that is, how are you going to structure the loop in such a way that you keep the audience entertained? I'm dead honest. And I'm one of these people that's on YouTube and all these different places. I'm not one of these people like, you should only listen to me. Go and watch loads of different people. If you want to see a masterclass in keeping people entertained, go and have a look at David Shannon. Go and have a look at Carl Wachner. Go and have a look at Mike Love. Go and have a look at all these different loop artists who create stuff where they pull bits of information in from the songs, and then, you know, by the end of it, you're like, wow, that was really cool. If you want the CD version, play the CD. You know, if you want, that's my opinion on it. If you're watching live music, it should be a live interpretation of that song. So it shouldn't exactly sound the same. But yeah, anyway, moving on. So Chris, I'm going to do I've actually got a course already, which is called How to Loop Like a Pro. And if you have a look at that, that is actually a course. It's a mini course. It's only really, really small. And if you want to have a look at that basically, I do break into structure about that. The course I'm going to be building is all about the RC-600 LoopStation. Of course, if you've got a Headrush looper board, if you've got an RC-500, you've got a Boomerang 3, How to Loop Like a Pro doesn't matter what loops pedal you've got. So go on to johnpaulmusic.co.uk, scroll down, and you'll actually see my course there called How to Loop Like a Pro. Now, if you go and put that in, that course is $97. And if you go to the checkout and put, I've got to remember this now. I'm right, hang on. Where is it? I'm doing this live. This is live, people. It's that one. Yes, right. So, How to Loop Like a Pro is $97. If you put in the checkout Loop Like a Pro, all in capitals, you'll get $30 off. Okay, so if you want to have a look at that, it'll be $67 for you in US, $67 US to get my mini course of How to Loop Like a Pro. And then if you put Loop Like a Pro in capitals in the checkout, you'll get $30 off. So if you want to have a look at structure, you want to look at structuring loops, no matter what loop pedal you're on, that might be the course you need. Now, of course, if we go have a look at the Boss RC-600 LoopStation, then of course that's what I'm going to be building, and that'll be available, I'm hoping, next month. Right, I've proper waffled on because Chris obviously sort of brought a really, really good thing. Cool. Right, okay, so for those who are just joining us, hi, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are from. My name is JP. Welcome to John Paul Music UK, I suppose. Australia Ray said that he's got the Boss, looking at the Boss RC-600 and the Behringer FCB 1010, and I said, what are you going to do, side by side or front and back, like when you put it on a pedal board? And it's going to be side by side, so it's going to be really long. So yeah, it's going to be funny. Yeah? What? What's this about? I've missed this conversation completely, Piers. What's going on? Matey, and if one after MIDI pedal board I strongly recommend is the Nectar Pacer. I love that thing. So Matey's saying that is Nectar, kind of like I missed the Nectar, kind of like I kind of missed the boat on Nectar, really. They are brilliant pedals. They're really, really good. I like the idea of them, and there's a couple of different ones out there as well. And from a MIDI pedal of choice, mine is Morningstar. I love the MC8. I'm very, 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 very fortunate that Morningstar sent me that and said, keep it. So not just that I didn't have to pay for it, but at the same time, it does a lot of really, really cool things. I don't even scratch the surface on what it does for my day-to-day. But I will be going into MIDI pedals with the RC-600. That is a big ask from a lot of people, so don't worry. So there we go. Fun and games. Don't look at me, I never had the head rush. Okay, fair enough. Here we go. Australia, very cool. I got a Zoom G5, a Boss ME80, a Boss VE20, and the RC600, and then you're gonna have the BCB 1010 as well. You're gonna need a rifle case. You're gonna need 2 rifle cases. You're gonna whatever you're gonna get to put all that in, make sure it's got wheels, mate. That's all I'm going to say, because your arms are just going to extend by about 4 inches. But yeah, that's crazy. It's all fun and gun. Yeah, we said this before. All heckles are useful. Some heckles are useful. Some, yeah. I had a heckle once. Well, it wasn't a heckle. It was more a guy shouting to another guy, and it went in the loop. It went in the microphone, and it was in the loop. And actually, I just thought, you know what? I'll keep it in. And at the end of it, I went, right, that's called Dave, because he shouted to his mate Dave. I went, "Hey, Dave!" And it went in the loop. And you just got to, not take it too seriously. That's the way it is. Cool. APT Acoustic in the house, ladies and gentlemen. Hi, GP. Would like to see how to set up levels, inputs and outputs. Yes, that is something that I am looking at, because there's three different ways of doing it. There's inputs for your instrument. There's inputs for the rhythm, as in the rhythm input. There's inputs for the loop itself, like the levels going into the loop. Then you got your outputs, so you got exactly the same again. You've got like the levels of your microphone, your guitar, your keyboard, whatever you plugged in. The output of your rhythms, I suppose there's not really an input version of that, but there's an output version, definitely. I'm thinking off the fly. And then there's also the loops themselves, the level of the loops. So yes, so that is definitely going to be in there. Don't worry about that. I'll definitely do that. Time to actually singing seems critical. It does. Is this where I was ranting on about length of loop before you start singing? Yeah, it is. It's one of these things where if you're building something and it's really the build is entertaining, then maybe not so much. Certainly on YouTube. Certainly if you're doing stuff, like filmed, or you got a couple of cameras around and you're editing it up. But live, yeah. Like if you're boring people and they're like, well, we're out on a Friday night and we want to have a good time, is this guy going to sing the chorus or what? Yeah, my point, right? So yeah, it's really weird. So the chat is so slow. Yeah, I know, it's a little bit slow. 250 for the FCB 1010. It's not slow, Ray. It's me waffling on about different things and then going back to the chat afterwards. So that way, chat's over there, not there. It's mirrored. So yeah, so me waffling on. So no, it's not that the chat's slow. It's that JP is slow. So yeah, there we go. Rafa, how are we? Yeah, man. Been searching for the pedal boards for the RC-600, and every option I've had, even Velcro zip tie, really hated it until you saw the photograph of the BCB 90. It's arriving today. Yeah, cool. So BCB 90X. If you didn't see that, I put a photograph up on my YouTube community. So if you have a look on my channel, you can see it there. And it's just down here, but it's got loads of things connected to it, so I can't unconnect it right now. But you'll get a piece of foam inside, and then it shows you like where a normal pedal would be cut out with lots of space and everything else. Ignore that, and then what you do is just get a ruler and a piece and a pen and draw out, put your RC-600 on and draw it out around it with a ruler. And give yourself a little bit of room as well. Then give yourself room for the cables. If you've got like cables that are like right angled, left angled, whatever you call it, then that's obviously going to be really lovely. I don't. There's one or two cables that are like that. In fact, no. One cable that's like that out of 7. So then also, if you want the cabling, when you take the foam off, there's cabling underneath. So of course you can stick it. I just gaffed it down. I just really carefully gaffed it down. So they were literally like, the 2 cables were like that, side by side to each other. So they're not like sitting on top of each other or anything like that. They're side by side and gaffed down really carefully, so it's flat as can be. And then put your foam on top. Obviously don't cut your cables, but cut it out so it's the right thing. So I was able to fit my really big M Audio. This must be really boring for you to watch, but my really big M Audio expression pedal. That is the by the way, on my channel, that is the universal thing for expression pedal. By the way, you'll see that on a lot of my videos. The RC-600 itself, of course, and an FS7 pedal, and they're all side by side. There's nothing on top of each other, and then the 90X has its own power supply, and it does power it. It powers it fine. Not a problem at all. It's the same power supply, technically, but, you know. And then what I do is, my microphone, it just plugs straight into the 600, and that's it. But my guitar plugs in to the little in and send that's on the other side, and then the out, just left and right out, just for basic gigs, is plugged into there as well, and all that cabling is underneath. Now, it's not held by Velcro, it's not held by zip ties, it's just sitting in the foam, and that's really handy to me because then basically when I need to do a demo, like a Boss RC-600 LoopStation course, and I need to take the thing out of the pallet, I can just go, lift, and it's gone. It's really, really cool. Really, really nice. I really hope you enjoy it, Rafa, because it's really nice, and it's really satisfying to cut that foam. But there we go. It sounds harsh, but I don't want to be that guy. Is such a powerful teaching tool. I don't want to be that guy, but yeah, it is. Yeah, when someone gives you feedback, shall we say, or they basically turn around and go, "Yeah, that's you're crap." If you get that kind of feedback, or take it as constructive criticism and just go, "Okay, I appreciate that." Don't just go, all right then, and walk off and sulk and cry in the shower. Go to them and go, cool, all right, what, not being rude, just asking a question. You don't want to start a fight, just asking, what would you like, I want to learn, what would you like to see me improve on? How would you think that would be better? And I've asked that from people in the past, and it's hard, it's not easy to do, because you're basically going, I accept I'm not good. Tell me how I'm going to be better. And you're not going, tell me how I'm going to be better then. And you're not doing that. You're turning around and genuinely asking. Because you want to learn. You want to be better. That makes sense. Right, let's have a quick look-see. Christopher, I almost think I need to go back to a single looper. Wow. Really? That's cool. The Jam Man forced you to make those kind of decisions, not losing the crowd. It does. Right, so Jam Man... FS? No. Oh, too many different numbers. Jam Man, RC5, RC3, RC1, even things like a sort of like RC30 with like a 2-pad, you've still got to move it over. It does, it makes you, it limits you. It's like Vine. So everyone, I'm that old, I remember Vine. I remember when it got launched. And when you had 7 seconds, right? You had 7 seconds to make a video. It made you really creative. And yes, I did have a Vine account and tried to become a Vine star. But it didn't work. So yeah, but having that limitation, this is the thing about these big loopers, is you go, yeah, it can do everything. What do I do? Whereas if you've got one looper, it's kind of like Carl Wachner did this thing for loop artists that was like, how many levels of loops can you get before it just becomes a wall of sound? And the lesson there is to be aware of like adding too much. Okay, so yeah, I totally get that. I love that. Matey, what is your thoughts on Loopy Pro compared to hardware loopers? I've done videos on Loopy Pro, and I've spoken to the creator of Loopy Pro, who also is the creator of Loopy HD, and Mike. We've had conversations about it, and we had conversations prior to its release, and I do an overview of it as well, which he was very happy with. I haven't used it recently, and it's got, well, I dabble on like the phone and the iPad and stuff, but it's got a lot better. I mean, it was fantastic to begin with, and it is fantastic. Loopy Pro is, I would say, and I'm going to put my hand on my heart, my sleeve now. I'd say Loopy Pro is the best iOS looper, but there's a problem. If you've got a microphone and an iPad, for example, you then need an audio interface, because then you need to get the audio in and out. And then if you're playing an instrument and you need to do loops, you now also need some kind of pedal. So you need to add things to the central brain, which is the iPhone or the iPad. I've done gigs where I just did an a cappella gig. It was a half-hour set with other artists on, and I just took the phone, an audio interface, and a microphone. That was it. And it was like I did the whole thing a cappella with loops, and it was good fun. And I did that with Loopy HD, actually. That was quite a few years ago. That video is still on my channel if you want to go scrolling through and find it. There's a big, like, theatre backdrop, if you want to see that. There's 1 or 2 videos from that gig. And I've done gigs with it, and it's got me paid. I've busked with it, and that's one thing. The power is coming from the iPhone or the iPad, so therefore you don't need a power supply. So you can do that, which is quite useful. However, compared to a hardware looper, if you're solely just touching it with your finger and you're not going to be using pedals, it could be an advantage. If you're using pedals like a MIDI pedal or another kind of pedal to control it, then you might as well get a hardware looper. Hang on though, don't kill me for that. However, where Loopy Pro does come in is you can completely personalize everything. So it has ultimate customization in the sense that you can pick the reverb from a different company and bring it in. You can have a synthesizer from a different company and bring it in. So it has way more flexibility, if that makes sense. But hardware loopers, certainly things like the RC-300, the RC-600, they're built like tanks. And if you're doing 200 gigs a year, 100 gig, 12 gigs a year, if you're doing a gig a month, you don't want to then go, oh, is my iPad going to get like a message halfway through the thing? And you got, the one time you don't put it on Do Not Disturb, it's going to go ba-da-ling. It's things like that. Whereas the looper is designed to do one thing and it does it incredibly well. So yeah, it just depends on what you're doing. So yeah, it's down to your own route. DubFX is now gone. He's never going back to a hardware looper after Loopy Pro was released. But then, in order for them to totally utilize that, he picked up an Akai APC, what's it called? APC 40 Mark II. So he's got like this hardware unit to control it with, but he's not using a hardware looper. And then he's also got an 18-in 20-out audio interface. So it's amazing in that respect, because the thing is, like, that is there's hardware there regardless of whether you do it or not. So whether if you're using the software. But yes, you can obviously use AUV3 plugins. You can Michael said he's going to integrate MIDI to loop MIDI. That would be an absolute game changer. So that's on the roadmap as well. So yeah, there we go. Just a slight interlude as I take a sip of tea. That's bad. I do talk a lot, don't I? I do waffle on. This live stream is sponsored by our friends over at Restream. Restream is what I'm using right now. All of this that you can see is live streaming. I've got my microphone plugged into my audio interface, which is plugged into my computer, camera. That's it. I've got no software running. I've only got a Chrome browser up, and this is called Restream Studio. Now, it's completely free to use. So if you're a performer and you want to do live streaming, if you're a magician and you want to show your tricks live, if you are an entertainer, you need a way to get on live into more than one place at once, you can do. We are currently on Facebook group, on my personal page, on YouTube, on my channel, and also on Twitch on my channel as well. So I'm streaming to 3 places right now. So if you click that link, if you go onto that link, which is restream.io/join/John Paul Music UK, you get $10 of Restream credit. Now, Restream is free. Restream Studio is free to use, but there are some limitations with it. So you can go to Facebook, but you can't go to a group. There's also Studio Pro, which is what I've got, and I pay for because I believe it's worth it, because hey, look at this. This is how we do the live streams. They're basically, this is how I use it. So if you go to that link, then obviously you can get $10 of Restream credit should you wish to go to the pro level if you want to. But it's completely free to use. So if you do want to obviously check it out, you can put tickers on, you can put music on, you can hear some music in the background. This music is called Chill Hop, by the way. Yeah, so I just want to thank them obviously for sponsoring this Restream, and there we go. Live stream even. Right, let's go back onto the chat. Let's see what's going on. Matey, love Loopy Pro. So deep but easy, but so easy from the off. It is, yeah, it is. And it's also like a bit like a blank A4 piece of paper. You can design the loop. Someone using Loopy Pro as a MIDI controller for an RC-600. There we go. I'll leave you with that. All good. Steve, I'm so behind on this chat, by the way. I'm so sorry. Steve Whittaker, hi GP, hi Steve. How are you? Hope you're well. So there we go. Piers said, I love how some artists manage to get a really good vibe as they build the loops, getting the song quickly, just one up. quickly is just one option, isn't it? Yeah, it is. It is one option. It also depends on what kind of style you play. I mean, if you're playing covers like me, or if you're playing your own stuff like me, then you know how you're going to formulate it. If you're playing ambient stuff, or you're playing stuff that basically is just, you know, completely left wing, or like left field, sorry, not left wing, left field, then it can be something that is going to be unique every time you do it. It's not going to be the same structure, so it depends on what you're going to be doing. So yes, so there's loads of things you can do with it, definitely. Alan, how we doing? Great info, sir. I'm using the Voice Live 3, a deep hill climb. Yeah. David Shannon used the Voice Live 3 for a good couple of years, and he always said it was a 2.5 looper, because you can always have like a verse or then a chorus, kind of you can have like 2 loops going at the same time, but there was 3 in total, so you could only switch one on one or the other, and that's quite useful in some scenarios. But he's now moved over to the RC-300, and he was looking at the 600. So yeah, so it depends on what you're doing, definitely. Piers, Loopy Pro has entirely replaced Logic in my streaming setup. Wow. But yeah, I can definitely see the appeal of having it all in one box. Fair enough. If you're not sure what I'm doing today, hi. The subject for this live stream is I'm actually building a new course. It's the Boss RC-600 LoopStation course, and I'm going to start filming it as of next week. I'm just kind of half writing it at the moment. That's writing, by the way. I want to know, I just want to reach out to the community and go, what do you want to see in that course? The course hopefully should be available in July, provided I, get all my timings right. Yeah, I just want to know what you think. So if you're interested in, obviously, the RC-600, maybe you've got the RC-600 already, and you just want to know there's something that's been bugging you, I haven't done a video on it or anything like that, it's going to be in that course. So either put it in the chat, and if it's not, and you're watching this like a week later, then put it in the comments at the bottom. Also, if you're on YouTube, I just want you to do me a massive favor and just give this live stream one of them. I know it's cheesy, but it just helps the channel massively. You don't understand how much it helps the channel unless you do a YouTube version yourself. So just do that. It takes you seconds. If you've found some kind of value out of this live stream, just that really helps. If you really love what I do, there is a brand new button which most people aren't aware of yet, which is called a super thanks. It's a little heart with a $sign through, and that's a little bit like tipping a busker, and it's basically obviously tipping me. You don't have to do it, of course. I'm just letting you be aware of it, but obviously my live streams are always going to be free, but it's there if you want to. So there we go, selfless plugs out of the way. I'm going to move on. I take it you're talking about Loopy Pro when you're looking at this. Can't wait for the Mac version. Get it down to a single rack case with a MIDI pedal or launch pad. Nice, that's a nice idea. What, like a Mac Mini or something like that? That'd be quite cool. Or do it on the laptop. Rafa, I'm really interested in the YOLO box. Well, that's a change of pace, isn't it? So this is the YOLO box right now. I'm not using it today, just because I'm using Restream, which obviously is dedicated to on a web browser. But the YOLO box, yeah, it is an amazing piece of kit. The price, yeah, so it is incredible. Wow, I've just read the second half of your message. Wow, so yeah, hard in the third world. Not to mention the price. $1,280 for an RC-600. So for those who are whinging about not being able to get hold of one, just in those moments, think of Rafa, because that's just, dude. Oh, I've got no words. I feel for you. But it could get you a load of gigs. So I hope it pays for itself very quickly. That's all I can say. What's this? Chat. Meanwhile, is JP the Derail JP game? What? Chat, meanwhile, is playing the Derail JP game. Yes, it is. Sorry, I didn't even read that properly. Oh, God. Yes, it is. Derail JP completely off what he's meant to be talking about, which is the RC-600 LoopStation course. If anyone's got any thoughts on what it should be called, by the way, I just got it called as the complete guide. If you've got a snazzy name for it, where are we? Let's have a look. Yeah, Oh, the total course I had it down as. That's obviously it's just been sort of penciled in yet. It's not set in stone. But yeah, if you've got a snazzy name for it, give it a name. For the person who comes up with the name, I'll give you $20 off. There you go. The best name, not just a name. Anyone can do that. So there we go. Now, Nectar Pacer plus AudioFuse Studio. That's what I use. That's what I'm using right now. Akai MP40 and Loopy Pro is your Loopy rig. It's a bomb. My Headrush cannot hold a candle to it. Still love to have a hardware looper in hand. This is the thing though, isn't it? Like, Loopy Pro, Loopy HD, Quantaloop, L7 Looper, they're the iOS ones. They're the major iOS ones. There's a couple of others. You need all this extra equipment, and like you're going to get some great audio out of there, and that's all cool. I'm going to annoy Matey now, and he's probably going to leave. And this is devil's advocate, so please don't hate me, okay? The Boss RC-600 is 32-bit. So, and it's also an 8-in, 8-out audio interface when you need it. So, he's like, click, off, done. Just blow your mind. So, 32-bit floating audio, people go, what's the point? I don't care. You will care. When you start looping 10... when you start looping sort of like, you know, like 8 to 10 overdubs, 32-bit floating is a game changer because you don't worry about compression. You don't worry about like the low floor. You don't worry about the sound and everything. But it is great in that respect. But I just thought I'd let you know. Right, so I just wanted to just jump that in. I'm quite defensive, I think, about the RC-600 because I like it a lot. If you're on Twitch like me, hosting the channel is one guess I helpful in a similar way. Hosting the channel is... Well, oh, yeah, of course, you can do that on Twitch, can't you? So you can host the channel on your channel that helps out with more... That's cool. And you've got active subs and all that kind of stuff on Twitch. I do post on Twitch, and obviously I stream on Twitch because I stream here, and it kind of restreams it. I need to be a bit more active on Twitch. There's a whole community of Twitch musicians. One musician I've been speaking to recently, and there is an interview coming, which is Emily McVicker, a great Twitch musician and one-woman show, as she likes to call herself. Her entire community helped her build her YouTube studio, and the community aspect on Twitch is huge. I think it's getting better on YouTube as well, which I quite like, which is good. So I'll be sticking around for a while. There we go. Yeah, well, I'm a Twitch streamer at the moment. There we go. Investing almost everything I get into this setup. There we go. Literally, that couldn't have gone better than if I said it myself, Rafa. There we go. Cool. The course name. Boss RC-600 Zero to Hero. Ooh, that's a contender, isn't it? I like that. Welcome to the Boss RC-600 Zero to Hero course. Yeah, I like that. I will consider that, matey. Although, obviously, the $20 off, if I give it to you, you probably won't want to do it because you don't have an RC-600. But thank you for the actual suggestion. Oh, nice. I don't stream music, but JP's advice has been helpful for streaming games too. Oh, cool. Dude is a sound wizard. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah, all you need is a microphone and an audio interface, which I'm sure, Rani, you can get hold of. A camera, and you're good to go. The other thing as well is you with Restream Studio, you could probably use that. We don't need to learn any software. So Restream Studio, you could actually... Sorry, I've just seen Randy's latest comment. It just popped up and I was like, oh, Fred the course. With Restream Studio, you could stream... I don't know if you can actually send your game to it. So you could actually find out if that's... And it's free. So why don't you give it a try and report back to me. You cannot already have a lot of gear if you're recording on a PC, though. This is true. I agree. That's fair enough. Emily is incredible. She is incredible. So obviously with you being a Twitch streamer. Right, okay, let's do this. Everyone who's watching now, everyone who's live now, go to Rafa's Twitch channel if you haven't already, and go and follow it. I like to do this every once in a while, where basically we just obviously support each other. There is no competition in music. All these competitions in music. Oh, the winner! you're all winners. I know that sounds cheesy as hell, but the thing is, when you go, cool, I've listened to this person, what happens when you finish listening to this person? You listen to someone else. So go and listen to as many people as possible. So go and listen to Rafa's stuff. Go and look at the Twitch channel. Rafa, put your Twitch link on, and I will put it on this live stream right now. And then everyone just go and subscribe to Rafa on YouTube, and then have a look at the Twitch stuff. There we go. There's a phrase I've used it before. A rising tide lifts all boats. So don't just listen to one piece of music. Go and listen to loads of different music. Go and find, if you were looking for fine new music, there you go. Go and find some new music. Rafa, I can't pronounce your surname. Metellio. Rafa Metellio. I'm going with that. There we go. She has actually. I'm talking about what Piers just said. We're talking about Emily, right? She's got some great loop breakdown videos on her YouTube as well. She has, and she's got more into YouTube now. Obviously, streaming 3 times a week on Twitch. And we had a great conversation. So that video is coming out very soon. And that is one of my How Do You Loop videos. By the way, there's 2 t-shirts just over there, the blue one and the orange one. They are my How Do You Loop t-shirts, and you can go and get one of them, so you're more welcome to purchase one. That helps me out. So if you're a looper and you got How Do You Loop, but the whole idea of that was basically meant to be the very British thing of saying how do you do, and it's like how do you loop. Anyway, and I designed it myself, so there we go. JP, take a pause. I'm so bad at this. All I could think of was stay in the loop. Oh, that's nice. Stay in the loop, I get it, the pun, stay in the loop. That's good. Yeah, I laughed so hard at this. Fred the course. Welcome to the RC-600 LoopStation course called Fred the course. That's quite cool. I'm having fun this afternoon, I really like this. I'm not missing the sun at all. When you come to London, buy me a beer and we can call it even. Is this in response to the RC-600 has got 32-bit floating? Sorry. Yes. All right. Fair enough. I owe. Right. It's official on YouTube. I owe Matey the Great a beer. That's fair. That's fair. You know what you've got, and it's absolutely fine. There's I mean, the thing is that the technology we're playing with now, I would have killed to have this 10 years ago. You know. Think of looping 10 years ago. I was looping on a Headrush E2, the Akai Headrush E2, 1 jack in, no microphone input, no undo, no redo. It was record, overdub, clear. And it was a nightmare. I had a little mini mixer next door to it to plug everything in, and the output of that, mono into the looper. Look at what we've got now. You know, we're not arguing over, but we're discussing, like, should I use my phone to loop with? You know, it's crazy. We live in the future. It's all good. Oh, what happened there? Sorry, Ross. Integrated with DAW, e.g. to play with software and instruments. Oh, is that what you want? Okay, cool. Going down on the list. Yes. Excellent. Integrated with the DAW. So, a section about integrating it with a DAW. Thank you. That is going to be a valid thing on the course, definitely, because of course, too many words, course. Of course, if you are using the RC-600, you've created some amazing loops and you want to integrate it. How do you get loop 1, loop 2, loop 3 to all be separate? And then your vocal as well, or your guitar and your instruments. So cool. Let's get that sorted. I will add that to the course because Ross has asked for it. There you go. Simple as that. I need chapters. I've got loads, but I want to make sure that we're covering every base. So again, if you're watching this on a replay, then just put it in the comment section. And I'm going to be watching this live stream back. Well, I'm going to look at the comments back quite a few times, and just to make sure. So there we go. Preach brother, no. Nobody ever owned just one CD after all. Preaching to the choir. Yeah, I know. It's one of these things where there seems to be competition, you know. And we've all fallen for it. We've all fallen for we need to be in competition with each other, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, I don't like it. It's like here's a competition. Yet when you go to a festival, There's loads of people. There's loads of people performing, and you're actually going, oh, who do we watch them in that tent, or do we go to them on that stage? And look at Glastonbury, like literally next week, or this week. Like you're just gonna go, no, I'm watching them, and then they're gonna have to wait because I'm watching them, and then they can start. That's not how it works. There is a plethora of music out there in the world, and go and listen to as much as you can. So there we go. Right, cool. The course. The course, says Steve. The course, I would be interested in, would you have lots of the mechanics of what I could be plugged into? Guitar, amps, speakers, PCs, etc. Yes, I'm going to go into the input section quite a lot. And then the difference, obviously, between that, because the other thing that the RC-600 could do is, obviously, it can take a microphone like this, which needs phantom power, or you can take a normal microphone, and how do you route that, and how does it sound into different amps or speakers, and blah, blah, blah. So, yes, that is definitely on the course already, but thank you very much for bringing that to our attention, because, yes, what do you plug into it? How would you go into it? So, yeah, that is in there, definitely. Oh, another one. RC-600, ways to loop. 600 ways to loop, right? That's what you get. Oh, these creative people. I don't know. That's fantastic. Rani. Okay. That takes me back to my college days. Yeah, well, there you go. The Akai. Yeah, well, I've got an Akai sampler that's just up there. And let me point to there. There it is. S5000. Spent a fortune on that. There we go. I started on Amiga 500. Are you? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. So there we go. All the current boss pedals seem to be. Yeah, this is it. There's just so much more you can do with them now. It's all good. Ray! JP has already given me all the heads up I need with my 600. I'm just so happy to watch anything you post. Oh, that's lovely. Thanks. Well, that leads me nicely on to, if you've got an RC-600 already, and then you're maybe looking forward to this course, this course. But if you're... My title's above me, and you can't see that. Silly JP. If you're looking forward to the RC-600 and you've already got one and you're thinking about, well, how do I customize it, or how do I do this, that, and the other, go to johnpaulmusic.co.uk, scroll all the way to the bottom. There is a PDF for looping tips, not on the RC-600, just looping tips in general, but there's also an RC-600 pedal planner. It's a PDF that you can download and keep, and you can write on, and you can use on an iPad, you can use a pencil, or you can just print it out and write on it. So if you're making different, if you're putting pedals in different places, if that makes sense, you're changing the pedals to how you want for different memories, then it just keeps tabs on what you're doing. I did a video all about customization, and the pedal planner kind of came out of that, really. I did put it on YouTube I put it on the Facebook groups, on one of the RC-600, two of the RC-600 Facebook groups. But if you haven't got it, you don't want to keep scrolling through because there's lots of people chatting. Just go to johnpaulmusic.co.uk and then scroll all the way to the bottom, and then the pedal planner is there. Christopher, we all bring something different to a table. We do. Time to celebrate the differences and encourage others to be the best artists they need to be. That's lovely. It's just lovely. Yeah, absolutely. So there you go. To the table. Yeah, I know what you meant. It's all good. Yeah. Have a look at what 32-bit floating does. Everything we do is a computer calculation when you come into processing audio into digital. But when you get to 32-bit floating, it's so much more. It gives you so much more headroom, and you don't get that really weird wall of noise feel. It doesn't feel compressed, but at the same time, it just gives you much more. Anyway, there's a great video. I'm actually gonna, matey, I'm gonna message you and send you a video which is from another company who are actually a music studio here in the UK, who explain 32-bit floating really well. But and it's a YouTube video, so you can sit and watch it. It's really good. But it just gives you a bit more insight. But when you bring it into looping world, it means that as you add more stuff on, the way loopers have been designed in the past is, as you add it on, it'll drop down a little bit on the previous one, and the other one will drop down and drop down and drop down as you keep adding on. So it's on one looper, it's called feedback. It's like feedback control, and so it's all the feedback control keeps, and it literally just reducing the volume, because if you didn't, you would end up having just total distortion, and that's the way loopers have been for the past 10 years. RC-600 does that. The Boomerang 3 does that. The basically where there's a feedback amount, and the feedback is how much loop do you want, and then when you get another one on, it's basically there. So yeah, so the 32-bit floating, which came in the RC5, the RC500, it's on the 505 Mark II and the 600 as well on the Boss ranges. The sound quality is great. Played it through my PA, like a big PA, and it's just fabulous. So it's great for things like that when you're doing multiple loops, you're doing multiple overdubs. Obviously, if you put a screaming guitar through and it's distorted to hell, that's up to you. But you get what I mean. Rani, lovely to see you on live stream as always. Thank you very much for tuning in on Twitch. This is a multi-chat. So guys, folks, Rani is on Twitch, and there's a couple of on Twitch as well, and also on YouTube and on Facebook, so you guys can all chat to each other, which is lovely. So there we go. Even to noobs like me, bless you. Lovely. So there, 32-bit floating is all the dynamic range. Do you want me, here we go, do you want me to do a 32-bit floating for looping section in the course? Just give me a yes or no in the chat, and we'll add it in if you think it's valid. The only thing about the RC-600 is bad at is speeding up or slowing down loops. Speeding up or slowing down. Oh, when you speed them up or slow them down, you mean the what's lovingly known in the community as the warbling sound. Do you mean that? Because it shouldn't speed up or slow down on its own. Yes, that's what you mean. Okay, yes, the warbling sound. I think it's down to the algorithms of how they do it, and this is where, when you listen to Loopy Pro, and you look at how Loopy Pro's audio engine works, if there was the intro video which had dub effects, he showed it like moving and changing, and it sounds fantastic, and it's audio stretching, basically. That's what it's doing. Whereas the Boss engine has a different way of doing it, and then you do get this bit of warbling sound. It doesn't really stretch the audio; it plays it just slower in sections. It's just weird, but yeah, I get that. I feel your pain. I've been learning a lot since seeing other musicians perform, and I believe a section with examples of how other artists understand their loop building would be great. Many of us would love to contribute. Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't think of that. Nice. How other art? Well, the funny thing is, Rafa, that is actually my loop like a how do you loop series. So my How Do You Loop series on YouTube is also available as a podcast, by the way. You can go and listen to it. So if you just put How Do You Loop ? You'll find it. It's under the John Paul Music UK podcast, and you can. It's a load of interviews. It's interviews with people who do exactly that. Now, it's not showing like sections of actual examples and breaking it down, but it's also asking about how they got into looping, how they structure a loop, why they do it. So I hope you find that really useful. But that might be something we could look at. That's an interesting idea. I like that. Yes, I need to look at that. There we go. Thanks so much, JP. All the best on the course. You're welcome. No problem at all, Chris. Sometimes, says Piers, I want fairly radical feedback reduction. The Boss pedals don't seem to let me control that, sadly, but nor does Loopy Pro yet. Yeah, that's the thing. So when you say feedback reduction, do you mean that you want to reduce the volume of certain loops, or do you want to delay things? Sorry, I'm a little bit confused about that. I just now Piers is going. This is what I mean, JP. So let me read that again. I want fairly radical feedback reduction. Oh, so yeah. Well, the thing is with that, that's where you don't go in for feedback reduction. You actually look at the volume of the loop. Oh, okay. I've just read what it says up there. The way the loops fade out. Okay. Well, feedback reduction is reducing the feedback while the loop is going round and round and round and round and round. If you're talking about loop fades, then obviously the way it fades out, yeah, I'd like to see an extension on that. I think there's a couple of ways. Obviously, you got like fade out the loop or fade in the loop, and I'd like to see a dial to just go, how many seconds do you want? And funnily enough, the Headrush Looper board has that. So there we go. So there's another. So there's a tick for that one there. Michael is a genius. He is with audio programming. He is, and do you know what? This is the guy who has changed he's created an entire like semi-industry. Created Loopy HD, created Audio Bus, and now created Loopy Pro. Those three apps on their own, like, have created an entire genre. Well, not a genre, but like they've created an entire section. And that's one guy. He doesn't have an entire team with him. Literally one guy. He gave his beta to a couple of people, and then asked for feedback. And like, incredible. And originally it was going to be called Loopy HD, the Masterpiece Edition, and that was about 8 years ago. So Loopy Pro is it is fabulous. It is. It takes a lot of. I think it's got a steep hill climb in that respect, that you've got to go, how do I want my loops? And you've got to almost take a step back from the songs completely and go, how do I want it to look? If I was building a looper, how do I want it to look? So you got that. The simplicity with a loop pedal is, this is what it is, go. The 600 has a bit of an in-between, so you've got this is the way it is, but you can change it if you want to. So you've got that kind of like customization, but then you've got a solid tank to play around with that customization. I hope that makes sense. So yeah, so on iPad, fingers flying and praying autocorrect doesn't bug. Yeah, I know what you mean. I feel that. That's all good. And does not use iOS on his own music, making his a traditional Irish it's okay. Concertina player. Yeah, fair enough. There we go. So guys, this is obviously a live stream about the RC-600. However, this live stream is sponsored by our friends at Restream. I'm actually using Restream right now. So everything you can see on the screen is actually done through Studio Pro. It's actually through Restream Studio. And there's no software. It's just a Chrome browser that I'm using, and then I just log in, and that's it. So everything you can see, the chat, all my overlays, I've actually designed myself and then popped in. And you can do loads of things. You can notice here in the background, there's like a video going on. I can change the video. Let's do this one. There you go. Let's do this one. And it just moves around. And I'm just clicking on buttons. And the great thing about it is that I don't have to think about it or do anything. I just set the one I like, and away we go. You can obviously bring in things like presentations, like PowerPoint presentations, keynotes. You can bring in multiple cameras. You can hear some music in the background. So Restream Studio is part of Restream, and Restream is the place where you can actually pump out your stuff and it will send it out to multiple places. So we are currently on Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube at the same time, and it's pumping out the same information, which is great. So this link at the bottom here, that link is restream.io/join/John Paul Music UK. Restream Studio, all you're doing is signing up for an account, and that account is free. Restream Studio is free. I'm using the Pro version, and it gives you a couple of things. For example, streaming to my Facebook page as opposed to Facebook personal. I can put my own logos on. I can take the Restream watermark off, things like that. And when you sign up, you get $10 of Restream credit, which is quite nice. Should you choose to go to a Pro version. So I just want to thank them for sponsoring this, and that's all good. So give it a click, have a look, and yeah, there we go. That's Restream. So let me just turn that off. There we go. Chat. Whey! Look at this, Rafa. Thank you very much. Super sticker. Lovely love. Pearl character bowing down, saying thank you. Isn't that funny? Obviously on YouTube you'll see that in the chat, but on here it just tells you what the sticker is. That's really, really funny. Super sticker. Thank you very much. That means so much to me. Thank you so much. We've had a great conversation today, and I take it, Rafa, have you put your Twitch link in the chat? Because did I miss it? Please put it in the chat. Please type it in the chat, and I will bring it up on screen here, and then everyone can go and follow you. That would be really, really nice. I'm scrolling through it now. I don't think I saw it. But put it in again, and then just put your Twitch link. Just copy paste your Twitch link into the chat right now. And then everyone can go follow you on Twitch. I think that'd be really, really nice. You're welcome, dude. No problem at all. So it's all good. So the question, obviously, of the day, is what subjects would you like to see in my new Boss RC-600 LoopStation course? Comment in the chat, or obviously if you're watching this on the replay, comment in the comment section and on YouTube, and then I'm going to be going over these comments over the next kind of 2 to 3 weeks. I'm going to start filming next week, and then the course will be available from, I'm hoping, July. Not from July, it's going to be the middle to the end of July, just so you know, because it takes a long time to obviously then film all these different sections and edit it up in the way I want to, because we're going to have a camera on this and a camera on that and everything else. Anyway, I won't bore you with the details, but I've got loads of different things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a sneak preview, sort of the course. But there's nothing to see. I haven't filmed anything. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the outline of everything that's going to go in the course. So I'm just expanding everything as I speak. And the course will be available on my website, which is johnpaulmusic.co.uk. There is also already a course on there, which is how to loop like a pro. And if you are a looper, no matter which pedal, then you can actually get some information from that, and it's all about structuring a loop. So if you want to have a look at that, go to johnpaulmusic.co.uk, and then you can you can do that. There we go. You can obviously get that course. If you put Loop Like a Pro in capitals in the checkout on the course, you get $30 off. So there we go. Have I got that on there? No, there we go. All right, so the course as it is right now in draft format. This is really behind the scenes, by the way. I don't normally do this, but I thought, why not? And just see what you think. So, course introduction. Welcoming to the course. About your course leader. Outlines and objectives. Okay. The next chapter. Once you go through those two, by the way, all the other chapters will be unlocked. But it just puts you through that first, because then I explain how the course works and where things are. And then you can go through the course in order, or you can go through in any way you want. So the first chapter is out of the box. The overview of an RC-600, inputs and outputs, latest firmware, first time switching on, display, mixer, controls, and overview. What do you think? Is there anything that you think out of the box should need? So I've got overview of the RC-600 in general, inputs and outputs, and that goes quite deep already. Latest firmware, first switch on, and then another chapter is display, mixer, and controls overview. I think this is the longest gap I've not talked for. I'm going to have a drink. So that's out of the box. The next chapter, the basics, looping, plugging in and out, record, overdub, play, stop, and clear. I'm going to rename that, but that's what's going to be in that chapter. Undo and redo as its own chapter. Looping basics, lights, and switches. Modes, what it says on the tin, the default settings. That's all one, by the way. Then, multi-mode versus single mode versus both. I know. So that's the basics. Any thoughts on that? Is that okay? Happy for me to carry on? Next, memory settings. So, track settings, record settings, play settings, rhythm, saving your first memory stroke song. And then editing a memory. The next chapter is system settings, the menu button. So the memory settings is the loop button, and then the system settings is the menu button. So inputs, outputs. By the way, this is all of them, like your instruments, your loops, your whatever. Inputs, outputs, mixer, setup, and factory reset. Okay. Then the next chapter is FX. Literally, I put the effects as its own chapter because it's so big that it needs its own chapter. So there are only two parts of this, which is input effects and track effects. So I'm going to expand on that, but I'm just going to let you know. The next one is customization. So display control functions. I think I've read that down wrong. Oh well. Display control functions, then control function and pedal modes. So pedals 1, 2, 3. Like modes 1, 2, 3, sorry. The next section is called 27 buttons and 99 memories. And then the other section is called planning. Then we've got control and expression. Then we've got assigns. Now assigns is its own chapter. So just so you know. Then, and I haven't added anything into this yet, so don't, because I'm only just drafting this up. MIDI. There's so much. I could do an entire course just on MIDI alone, but MIDI, like MIDI what? Like MIDI CC, MIDI pedals, MIDI faders. I've got to add things to that yet. So I am going to add things to that, so we'll have a look. After that, the next chapter is advanced setups. So inside advanced setups, you've got using multiple memories for one song. I'll say that again. Using multiple memories for one song. Advanced assigns. And USB audio, generic versus vendor. Now, in there, I think that's where we're going to put DAW, because that would be a very, very good thing. And do you know what? I'm going to add it in now. You're just watching me do this. It's quite funny. Add content, new post, DAW, create post. There we go. It's in. Then I've got another section which is called going beyond, and I'm not going to explain that yet. And there's another section called bonus. That is the course as it currently stands, but not really, because I'm going to add more things in. But there is quite a lot to go through there, and that's why I'm saying it's going to probably be out at the end of next month, because it's going to take me quite a while to film, and I want to make sure also the quality of the filming is good. So with the camera that I've got, and obviously I use an iPhone for my second camera, I want to make sure that we've got a really good quality course, so you guys get the most out of it, and also at the same time you're not leaving the course going, but what did he mean? I want it to be like really simple, but also even the advanced stuff that you get it. And I'm not trying to say you won't get it. What I mean is that I want to make sure that it's step by step. It's anyone can get it from any level can get it, because of the way I chat it. So there we go. Making that number go up is so useful. Oh yes, I realised what's going on. Sorry, Rafa and Pierce having a conversation. That's cool. Right, MIDI pedals, please. MIDI pedals. Let's add that into the content. Add content, new post, MIDI. So let's just put pedals. Okay. I take it as well under the MIDI. People might want to know about MIDI controllers, like faders, control knobs. Do you want to know about that? I'm going to say you do. Controls, let's call it faders and knobs. There we go. Faders and dials. Faders and knobs, faders and dials. There we go. Right, cool. Yes. Yes. Please do that. Cool. So we've got quite a lot to go through, and I've got quite a lot to film. So there may be, I normally try and get a YouTube video out once a week, if not more. There may be 1 or 2 weeks where you don't hear from me, and that's because I am busy filming this course. But I will try and pop up when I can and let you know how it's going. But if you can think of something, maybe you watch this and you go, "Oh, I should have asked him to do that. That would be perfect." And he hasn't thought of it. And just put it in the comment section of the replay of this video, of this live stream, because this will become a video afterwards. So, and then if you do that, I'll go through the comments. And I'll add them in. It's as simple as that. And we need to go. I want this to be the most complete RC-600 LoopStation course ever. And then also, I am going to keep updating it. So if they suddenly turn around and go, "Here's an update," and we've added this as a whole feature, I will add that into the course. So if you buy the course, then what that means is you've got it. You're not going to pay again. I'm not letting that happen. That's just not right. So you've already invested in a 600. You've then invested in this course. I'm not going to then start charging you more money. That just doesn't sit well with me. So I want this to be like an ultimate course, like way beyond what the manuals give you, way beyond, almost pretty much way beyond what my videos do. So if you think my videos will be good, I really want this to be up there at the top. But also just a little bit more of a deep dive, more of a... sorry, the cable's just decided to fall. I'm just moving it. They do, don't they? They just decide to go, "No, I'm bored, I'm going to fall off the table." They just do it every once in a while. There you go. Can you hear it? Get on the floor. See you later. So yeah. So right, guys, I'm going to leave it there. And obviously, you guys have heard the overlay. Oh, hang on. What's Pierce saying? New messages. There we go. There seems to be two courses, RC-600 specific, and also on how to make use of a multi-loop looper that's capable of more than just a specific pedal. Oh, Pierce, I'm so glad you said that, because that is what my other course is. My other course is How to Loop Like a Pro. How to Loop Like a Pro is all about looping no matter what pedal you've got. Now, we start with a one pedal, but we actually go to multi-pedal loopers. And I do use an RC-500 and a couple of other things, and I use them as a demo, but it can be any pedal. And that is more about structure. So go to johnpaulmusic.co.uk, scroll down, you will find the How to Loop Like a Pro course. Go to the checkout, and in the checkout put Loop Like a Pro in capitals, all no spaces, Loop Like a Pro, and you'll get $30 off. It's normally $97. You'll get it for $67. And that is a mini course. You can get through that course in about 2 to 3 hours. And the whole point of that is that it's super concise to get you up and running with looping, but then also thinking about structure. So that course is there for you already. So that is my How to Loop Like a Pro course. And then the RC-600 course will come out next month. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thank you so much, obviously, for your contributions that are here. And for those who have not been able to get on here, then if you are watching this on the replay, then first of all, thank you very much. But also at the same time, put your ideas for chapters or subjects within the chapters of the course in the chat, and then what I'll do is I will potentially add them if I think they are going to be suitable. If you think of an amazing name for this course, it's got to be relevant, obviously, then the person who comes up with the best name, I might reach out to you and you might get a little bit of a discount. But then it depends. I've currently called it Boss RC-600 LoopStation, the total course, but it's not going to be called that. That's just a draft. So there we go. And finally, just very quickly, just if you are obviously interested in how I do my live streams, you can do them yourself with this link right here, which is sponsored by Restream. So go to restream.io/join/John Paul Music UK. Click the link, and then what you can do is you can get yourself 10 Restream dollars. But the actual, what I'm using right now, there's a version of that that's completely free, and you can do exactly what I do, whether you're using it for performance, for chatting like we're chatting today, anything you want. So Restream Studio is there for you. thanks very much, guys. You've been really, really helpful, and also like just giving me some ideas. And it's been a great chat. We've got. I always go off piste. We know that. We know I always go off piste. That's what happens. Rafa, I'm gonna message you after this afternoon once I've had some lunch, late lunch. But I'm gonna give you a message if that's okay, and we will speak again. So, guys, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, whatever you're doing, and if it's already the next day, enjoy that one as well. Bye.